Welcome back to ESA Summer 2021. We are raising money for Save the Children. Links to donate can be found below the stream. We would also like to thank Twitch and ViewSonic for sponsoring this event. Now, it's time for Resistingframe, running Mega Man Rock and Roll, any percent on PC. Take it away.
Alright, welcome everyone. My name is Resistingframe.
I guess you want me to say a few things, and also LV Creed over here, helping out Resistingframe on probably one of the more recent Mega Man fan games than Mega Man Rock and Roll, made in around late November 2019 on PC, free to download. Hoping Resistingframe is going to do quite a little interesting things in a few moments. Got any last few words before we get things started, RF?
No, I'm just hoping, hoping for the best, and let's see what happens.
Alright, then I guess we should go ahead and get things started, because this is going to be a very, very interesting run. So, from countdown from 3, just get you back on screen. There we go. So, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so Resistingframe is going to be mostly focusing on the run itself. I'm going to be taking most of the commentating duties. As we see, we're actually be starting in the intro stage. Rock and Roll starts in the intro stage, where the lore is basically there's a group of beings that are abducting robots. As you can see, these little machineries just obstructing a set of robots right now. Some you may know, some you may not exactly recognize. But regardless of the matter, the intro stage pretty much just starts out basic. You're pretty much just starting off with knowing how Mega Man works. And of course, since this is Rock and Roll, we're gonna have ourselves a new character. Rose is donning the Buster, and it's pretty much gonna be one of the main stars. Actually, she is the main star, as we'll explain in a few moments. But Rose's mechanics differ from Mega Man in that she has a double jump, which is extremely powerful, makes her the best movement character in the game. She doesn't have a charge shot. She does use her regular Buster, but when you go through the game, it pretty much won't matter, as Mega Man's Buster is generally weak anyway, with the Charge Buster doing 2 units of damage, max for bosses, 3 on enemies. But the DPS for the game pretty much just allows Buster to be just susceptible without needing charge. So for the remainder of the intro stage, you're just pretty much going to go through the rest of the stage as Mega Man, and everyone just say wave bye-bye to Mega Man, because this is pretty much going to be the last time we're going to be seeing Mega Man throughout the entire run until the end game. So take care of your 15 seconds of fame, Mega Man, because this is going to be Roll's show in a little bit. But yeah, to sum up Mega Man, he's pretty much a basic Mega Man from 4 onwards. Well, at least the charge variant. He can charge, jump, shoot, slide. He actually takes a little bit more damage, well, less damage than Roll. Roll taking a little bit more damage, about 1 unit of energy compared to Mega Man. And we're about to get started on Roll's end of Mega Man Rock and Roll with Dune Woman. So Dune Woman, her stage is basically a straightforward stage, but the thing is, because we're using Roll's double jumping abilities, we're pretty much going to use it to full effect right from the get-go. As you can see, we're using double jump to pretty much bypass just about each and every obstacle that the game lays waste. So using all the obstacles and knowing the layout, RF is going to be going through each and every stage as quickly as possible, using the double jump to hopefully close to its fullest. As you can see, there are some issues with the double jump. It's very easy to kind of mistime your jumps, as you can pretty much like accidentally press the button a little too soon or too late. But overall, it's pretty much just Roll. This being the first stage, you really don't need too much in terms of weaponry to get through the stage pretty fast. So until we pretty much get to Dune Woman, this is a pretty straightforward dash to the finish. So we can pretty much start our first set of donations right now until we get to Dune Woman herself.
Alrighty, I've got a fantastic $50 donation here with no message, but it's from Anonymous, so thank you so much, Anonymous. And they put their $50 towards the Super Mario 64 70-star blindfolded showcase. So just a friendly reminder to you all that you can put your donations towards amazing incentives like that Super Mario 64 blindfolded showcase. Don't forget to go in and double check what amazing runs you can help extend or change the conditions of. There's so many out there.
So yeah, as you can see, we have reached the Doom Woman fight, and Doom Woman is actually an insane beast, probably one of the most, if not the most RNG intense fight in the run. As you can see, she goes into the sand and she does her little tornado attack, which is the Desert Storm, which is her main attack. You do not want to see that happen at all, or if it happens anyway, you want to see it as little as possible. You wanted to see her do mostly her sand blast, her triple sand blast, and for the most part that was a pretty solid run. But yeah, Doom Woman is just one of the worst bosses to fight, but because of the order that we're going in, she's going first because the route is actually weakness order. We start from weakness order, starting from Doom onward to our final robot master. And from beating Doom Woman, because we're going in this order, we probably got one of the most powerful weapons in the game in the Desert Storm, which is kind of like a combination of Storm Eagle's Charge Storm Tornado combined with the Tornado Blow for Tornado Man. And it pretty much just, unless it's a very strong enemy, just pretty much blows any and all enemies off the screen. So now we're going to Missile Man, which is next in the weakness order. And as you can see, Resistingframe actually went into the clouds. What was actually in there is a hidden W tank, and we're going to hold that W tank throughout the entire run up until a specific point towards the end of the game. But for the most part, Missile Man, it's another one of those relatively basic-esque stages, but there was a lot of instant death in the area. As you saw earlier, there was those parachute and spikes that was flying out. Those are instant kill until you destroy the parachutes. And the hydraulic presses, they're pretty much almost litter from the beginning of the stage to close to the end. It's just, this is your explosive stage. You're pretty much going to be seeing a lot of countdown bombs, a lot of explosive enemies, as you saw earlier, like with those flying bullets at the very beginning of the stage. So what Resistingframe is trying to do is pretty much just navigate through all the obstacles from the very beginning to the very end, obviously enough, making sure that he gets through it as cleanly as possible. And of course, the fun doesn't stop there. We get a little, oh yeah, that is an unfortunate death. Checkpoints are somewhat punishing because these stages are actually very, very long. They're long enough that, unlike most Mega Man games, there are actually 2 checkpoints in each and every stage. RF was very, very close to the second checkpoint, but that foot holder, which is almost ripped out straight from Iceman, but actually a little more tolerable than the one that Iceman stays because they don't move random, they do move in set positions. The fact that he hit that hitbox was just a little unfortunate, but we see RF recover, and now we get to that set checkpoint right there, where these foot holders are just littered with also flying killer bullets. So, closing in to the end of the stage, RF is going to deal with another stretch of conveyors and another stretch of hydraulic presses with a few mess along the way. So, as long as he can make this cycle here, he can pretty much just bypass. There we go, get that cycle skip. That is a very important cycle skip that RF made. If he was any bit slower, he would have to wait another crusher cycle in order to get by the rest of the stage. Now, for Missile Man, under most circumstances, is another RNG laden boss, but with the Desert Storm, you can kill him as quickly as at least up to 4 tornadoes. But in order to do that, he needs to be set up in a set position so he can hit 2 Desert Storm hits in one shot. And it looks like he done it very skillfully. Well done, RF.
I think that death is because I got a life on the intro stage.
trying to balance out life for life, like an eye for an eye.
I felt lucky when I got it, and now I know why.
The game knows. But seriously, we got the blast missile, another very powerful weapon. As you can see, the game pretty much displays all that it does. It actually destroys breakable rocks, and this is actually really important. Besides this being a weakness route, this is actually a very important item route. As you can see, Mega Man just now got the Rush Coil. He did not start off with the Rush Coil in the beginning of the game. You actually get 3 items, 2 for Mega Man and 1 for Ro. It's the one for Ro that is very important, and we get hers after the 4th Robot Master. But for right now, since we hadn't gotten to that point, we're still pretty much gonna go through 2 more Robot Masters, and the next one's gonna be Tide Man. And of course, since the name is Tide Man, of course we're gonna expect it to be an underwater level. Shout outs to my favorite music in the game as far as the Robot Masters are concerned. But yeah, the weapons are extremely good. For the entirety of Tide Man stage, you're pretty much going to see Resistingframe go through each and every nook and cranny of this stage using pretty much all of the Desert Storm and all of the Blast Missile. This is a very tight weapon route, in that you're probably going to be using each and every bit of your Desert Storm to pretty much bypass and get rid of every enemy that's pretty much on the screen. As you saw, Resistingframe just decimate those line of Tabbo as that looks like they're like wannabes from Mega Man 3, and just destroy a whole fleet of them. But yes, this is a very, very tight weapon route, because you're also going to be using not only the Desert Storm, you're also going to be using that in tandem with the Tide Man's weakness weapon, the Blast Missile, on the mid-boss for hopefully a quick kill that's coming up on this anglerfish enemy. Shoutouts to the fake out health at the very beginning of the fight. Also, shoutouts to Mega Man 2, is pretty much predecessor. But now, Resistingframe gonna have to navigate through the rest of this area, in which these luminescent jellyfish and these other light sources pretty much illuminate the rest of this area, which is in complete darkness. Fortunately, Resistingframe does know the layout of the area, and he's able to go through it very cleanly on his way to Tide Man. Tide Man is actually a pretty easy fight, but in order to make this fight go really fast, somewhere along this fight, we're hoping to see Tide Man fire out small fishes. If we can get that, then this fight will be very fast, and we got ourselves some small little fishes. And the anchor, and there we go, Tide Man taken down. Very, very fast fight. How you feeling, RF? You hanging in there right now?
The jitters, man.
you got this. You're doing great. And what's even greater is that you probably got one of the best weapons in the game, the shield bubble. A very good shield. It actually handles up to 6 points of damage towards anything, unless it's something that's too powerful. As you can see, with the very descriptive weapon get screen, it actually floats on the water. The explosive radius of the shield bubble is actually really good. It can capable of one-shotting a lot of enemies with one bubble. But anyway, for Drake Man is probably going to be one of the stages, just like Tide Man, it's going to be insanely weapon intensive. You're going to be using all of your current weaponry to get by this stage as quickly as possible. As you can see, Resistingframe was already using a combination of the Blast Missile and the Shield Bubble to negate all the fire enemies and obstacles, and then you had to go through this little rise to the challenge here, where he's gonna have to race this rising floor of lava. But of course, Resistingframe, being the skillful player that he is, he knows how to go through the area, use all his weaponry to his fullest, and get through the area right before the lava even comes up to the current checkpoint. So of course, like you said, we're using all the weapons. So yes, even Desert Storm gets his share in the spotlight. So Desert Storm's got to be used in specific areas where they're going to be mostly needed, so that they can help bypass all the obstacles. And yes, you just saw the Desert Storm just literally blow the flames upward. That's how strong the Desert Storm is, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that thought in mind as this run progresses. But yeah, at this point, it's pretty much a straightaway towards Drake Man, so we can probably have a quick donation before the Drake Man fight.
Then I'll take a moment here to remind everyone of all the amazing prizes we have. This is cumulative throughout the event, so if you donate $50 from now until the end, you have a chance to win a PlayStation 5 disc version with Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Where else are you going to get that? A, for so cheap, and B, while helping charity. What an amazing prize.
So as you can see, the Drake Man fight, you're pretty much gonna have to get right in his face with the shield bubble. Well, the thing about that fight is it can be a really dangerous fight because if you over jump, you can actually fall onto the instant kill lava, and that just ruins your shield bubble count because throughout that stage, you pretty much had a near exact amount of shield bubble to get that fight as fast as RF did. Meanwhile, what you get for being Drake Man, Bro's gonna literally spit hot fire on his foes with the fire breath. So, yeah, as you can see...
And bring on the beat.
Yeah, good point. You can't spit out hot fire unless you got a good beat. And with a aged up Kalinka just pretty much giving beat the tune up, you're actually gonna get probably the most busted item. As I said, Roll is get her single item after her 4th Robot Master, and now you got the Beat Lift, which pretty much works as the carrier version of Beat, not the attacker version. And it's going to be used a lot to do a lot of small little skips that add up a whole lot because you're going to be using it throughout the entire game. It's that good and that busted. So now going to Polar Woman stage. Polar Woman is the first stage you're going to be see Beat used to pretty much its near maximum potential. It's pretty much a combination of some water areas and some ice levels. As you can see right now, some in Beat, which actually I need to tell you that Beat does have a dedicated button to activate Beat and Rush for that matter, just to let everyone know. And as you can see, Beat just ignores everything. All you gotta do is just call Beat and Beat says, "What's up?" But yeah, pretty much just a quick shield bubble and ooh, that was a little close. Yeah, that was kind
of my heart, man.
That was kind of a little close. Those Super Mario Brothers 2 whales almost put Roll up right into the spikes. But yeah, there's the shield bubble. Its secondary function as the flotation device. And pretty much just going through the rest of the stage as intended. But as I'm going to talk about a little bit of some of the extra features that Rock and Roll has. As you can see, Resistingframe has been making use of the weapon reel that pretty much was fully inspired from Mega Man 11. The quality of life options as far as weapon uses is pretty good, especially since this is a PC fan game. So you got the Mega Man 11 weapon wheel. There are keyboard bindings for each and every single weapon, which means keyboard players have a distinct advantage. But of course you got the shoulder buttons as well for lots of options for weapon switching. Okay, so Polar Woman, let's see, do we get one pirouette? There we go. One of the best possible, it was the best possible option until she jumped up. But yeah, you want her to do at least a couple of pirouettes before she does her next attack. One of the things that I will say about this game is that this game kind of holds somewhat towards a Mega Man 6 style of AI in that a Robot Master can do a same action twice before it does its next attack. Of course, that next attack being random. In Polar Woman's case, it was one of the worst ones, where after the 2 pirouettes, which was one of the best ones, she winds up giving a very high jump, which puts those icicle spots on the floor. Meanwhile, you get a glimpse of the Snow Roller in action. It's a chargeable weapon. It freezes enemies, especially larger ones, when charged. So, everyone, ask me this, how do you feel about Mega Man 2? Specifically about Quick Man and Instant Kill Force Beams? Because that's pretty much what you're going to be seeing in Reactor Man stage. But at least unlike the ones in Mega Man 2, it's not completely trial and error. As you can see, the layout of the area is actually kind of made in that it's kind of like an obstacle course where platforms and other backgrounds allow the lasers to be blocked. So it's pretty much up to Resistingframe in order to time certain areas where the lasers will be least effective. Very solid mid-boss kill. there are a couple of ways of this mini bulb to be killed. The one that Resistingframe did was pretty much a combination of using B with the shield bubble coming in and heavy mashing in order to defeat as quickly as possible, which was very well done. Now for the remainder of the stage is pretty much a lot more instant kill laser shenanigans. Oh
My goodness.
Yeah, that was not one of the better deaths. Like you said, these stages are very long enough to have 2 checkpoints. Reactor Man's is actually very punishing because the checkpoint was right after the first mini boss, and that area was not that short. So dying there, it was an unfortunate time sink, but Resistingframe is able to recover as it continues on. As we go to the cooling area of the reactor, I'm pretty sure a lot of physicists probably respect that, having some cold temperatures to cool the reactor. Makes you wonder what the weakness is, But seriously, it's pretty much just another set of more obstacles towards the end where you got to deal with some lasers, some more charge tallies to actually home in on you. So get a couple of more jumps. Use me as a safety to get by this big eye, and probably one of the most chaotic fights in the game in Reactor Man. Reactor Man hits extremely hard, and especially when it rolls higher susceptibility of damage, you do not want to get hit by anything in Reactor Man. Reactor Man teleports, shoots a lot of lasers, a lot of projectiles. This fight is an insanely crazy fight, but the DPS of the snow roller able to do quick work with Reactor Man. For those that also didn't see, well, it wasn't shown, but yes, you can actually full charge the snow roller and actually freeze Reactor Man in place since it's being the weakness weapon. But the DPS of doing uncharged rollers makes the fight a little faster. So the charge laser is not used that much in the run, but it's used for very important sections. But you pretty much just hold the button and the laser shoots out permanently. Do not mash the charge laser, as a very quick way to lose charge laser energy very, very quickly. But of course, having 6 robot masters down, you see Mega Man just gliding around with the rush jet. Pretty much still sitting on the benches waiting for his turn. Probably just passing little time. Gotta do some before his time comes up. Okay, so Ghost Woman. I want people to be a little bit reminded. You saw at the very beginning of the intro stage, there were 4 robot masters that were kidnapped by these pieces of machinery. One of the side goals of the game in general is that those 4 robot masters are hidden in 4 stages. This is very important for the 80% run because we're actually going to take the time to go to one of them, which is in Ghost Woman stage. And as you can probably see with the background, it's pretty safe to assume which robot master you're going to deal with. Say hello to a slightly upgraded Skullman here. So with Skullman, you just pretty much just blast him with blast missiles, and he goes down in 7 hits. A very easy fight. As far as you got the weakness, if actually fun with Buster, he's actually pretty dynamic. But since we ain't doing none of that, someone in chat said Nightman. I got Nightman on the brain. Actually, Nightman is hidden in this stage somewhere, though. But I'm gonna leave that for you to find.
Beat, let me down.
Beat not being a bro that time around. But yeah, for the rest of the stage, it's pretty spike laden. As you can see, there are a lot of trap spikes. You're gonna be seeing a lot. There are a few Yoku blocks that are in the way, as you can see on screen right here. Of course, we're gonna use Beat to bypass just about every single Yoku obstacle that is in the game. Actually, yes, in the game, but specifically in the stage. So we got an upcoming mid boss with a combination of Desert Storm and a lot of help with the Fire Blast. The Belfry pretty much goes down very, very fast. And for the rest of the stage, it's pretty much just a straightaway to the boss. And there's pretty much nothing much to discuss about it, so we probably got time for a quick donation or two.
Then I have a $50 donation here from Hinsero that says, "Go Resistingframe."
We got time for one more.
One more, then give me a moment here. I would like to remind you all the amazing things that your donations help with for Save the Children. When you give to Save the Children, 87% of every dollar goes straight to their mission, changing the lives of millions of children around the world. Everyone here, you are making a huge difference in the lives of so many people around the world, so thank you for that.
And then the Ghost One fight, we actually had the best pattern. Unfortunately, just a little bit off timing with the final hit. But yes, for the Ghost Woman fight, you want 2 single window flashes. That is the best way to get the best kill on Ghost Woman. Otherwise, you'll see what I like to call her Shadow Stalker, in which she pretty much hides behind Rose's shadow, so to speak, and pretty much tries to surprise attack with the weapon that he just got, which probably is one of the more awkward weapons in the game in Soul Trap. And then Resistingframe already knows it's gonna be used in in a boss coming up, and it's gonna be a thing.
It's a thing, and I can't believe I have to use it, man.
It's a decent weapon for small enemies, but trying to utilize it after is a bit of a complicated affair. But before we get to that point, we're going to go to our final Robot Master in Beetle Lady, which is pretty much an insect-infested forest where you saw a brief glimpse of Plant Man with a cameo. But yeah, while Beetle Lady stage is generally a straightforward stage with not too much in the way up to a given point, it's pretty much the very end where things get a little bit clustered. Excuse me. As towards the very end, once Resistingframe gets there, it's going to be pretty much an open air area where there are a ton of explosive beetles, a lot of moths, some spiders that were also ripped out of Mega Man 11, and these explosive acorns that pretty much just continuously fall, just hoping to make Rose's life a living nightmare. But with some careful platforming and some clever use of the shield bubble to hopefully negate a lot of damage, you just saw it right there, Resistingframe pretty much going through the area without a scratch. So, for the Beetle Lady fight, you don't necessarily want direct Soul Trap shots. You want to actually capture her weapon, which is the Beetle Drone, which deals the most amount of damage, and that was a perfect fight on Resistingframe's end. Well done, well done.
At least something right. Oh my god.
Well, you saw the game give you a little bit of a pity life. They want you to complete the run. The game knows, for better or worse. But yeah, the Beetle Drone, this is the weapon you probably won't see much in the run at all, except for boss weaknesses. But it pretty much just trails and seeks out enemies and shoots out small little bullets that's along the horizontal path. But now we're about to reach the final portion of the stage, where now we get a little bit of an interesting mechanic. So for the ocean-based stage, we're starting off with Roll here, and the key of this stage is mostly stealth. You do not, in most cases, you don't actually want to hit the tripwires or alert any enemy that's along the screens. But in this case, in order to go fast, of course, you got to trip those wires. So you're gonna have to deal with a lot of enemy resistance along the way. It's a relatively short stage. Roll is already at the boss, but wait a second. Roll's trapped. How you expect her to fight this boss? Yep. After a long absence, Mega Man winds up returning back into action, because from this moment forward, both Mega Man and Roll are going to be used for the remainder of the game. And for people that probably been so familiar with playing with Roll throughout the entire 8 Robos, this could be a little bit of a shock because you're so used to playing Roll. So you gotta be aware that you're playing as Mega Man for half of the stage. So you can't be double jumping. You gotta keep things in mind. And there we go. Hold the button with the soul trap as you get into the door. You get to fire a shot and you actually deal a point of damage before the fight begins. But for this boss, I see you too, and yes, that is the name of the boss, you're gonna want to use Roll for the entire fight because her double jump along with the blast missiles just make quick work of ICU2. So there we go. The ocean base defeated. We pretty much beat the entire game. Oh wait, we were supposed to tell time, so something must be off. Oh yeah, a bit of a plot twist. It was Wally all along.
Shout out to all the Mets fans.
A little bit of foreshadowing here from RF. But yeah, now we are dealing with the Wally stages, and the dynamic of the Wally stages is as such. There are gonna be 2 separate stages, one that solely uses rock, and this is gonna where a lot of weapons are gonna get a lot of use. Of course, this being an old school style Mega Man game in a fortress stage, you're gonna have to manage your weapons very, very seriously.
Come on, man. I'm just tripping.
Yeah, the weapon drop really didn't help much as far as trying to get movement going. But yeah, you're gonna have to manage your weapons throughout the entire Wally stages, and to make things interesting, because as you'll probably expect, Roll is gonna be used for some Wally stages, so you have to utilize weapons of both Rock and Roll, in which their weapon energies are going to be completely distinct and separate as far as energy consumption. So what Arv's going to need to do for the rest of the stage as he continues on through shoutouts to Mega Man 4 Wally 1 in this Met Thunderdome, pretty much try to utilize each and every weapon for Mega Man and later on do the same thing for Roll in her stages. But yeah, Wally 1 is one of the tough stages. This is where the game actually gets real if it hadn't gotten real already, because the platforming and the difficulty curve pretty much ramps up a lot. So we got Resistingframe just a few moments before the boss, wisely taking a little bit of break there because the Pistons are cycle based, and now powerful one, probably the most infamous boss, because not only is this boss heavily armored, its weakness is probably one of the weirdest and most awkward to use. Because for the Meg Grabber, you're seeing that once Resistingframe is using charged or at least fully powered up Soul Trap, he's using it in a way where he's angling it, and that was a perfect fight. Because the Soul Trap, you gotta pretty much push up against his hitbox in order to angle it as at a given direction, and it is very finicky where the hitboxes for the powered up Soul Trap goes, and it's very easy to make it knock off into a completely different direction other than the one you
By
intended.
the way, if I'm at Sir, I'm gonna take a quick step. Okay, never mind. I just wanted to, because this stage is crazy.
Yeah, the power supply, which is Roll's first area of the Wally stages, is pretty hectic. Right from the get-go, you get a pretty clustered open air section where the parachute spikes that you saw on Missile Man stage make a return with these rocket birds that just drop egg rockets all over the place. So once again, a reminder, the weapon carryover is still present from the ocean base, so Roll is down some blast missile, so Resistingframe gonna need to keep that in mind in case that comes up later on. But this stage, after the open air section, is gonna be a little bit of heavy platforming. This stage is solely made so that Roll's overall movement abilities is put to the test. So a lot of roll, a lot of double jumping, and some gimmicks like these countdown bombs and these light up platforms in which you can only activate as soon as you shoot these other small little light bulbs here. Woo!
My finger slipped.
It's
you gotta be kidding me, man.
It's a it's a small target, and the game is rough. A game over two for marathons, especially for a game like this, is not that uncommon. But I'm sure Resistant Frame is gonna bounce right back. Come on, Chad, give it your energy. I'm pretty sure Resistant Frame would love to have your support as he continues on this very tough yet very awesome game. But since we're about to go through some retreaded territory, I think this is a pretty good time to roll out some more donations as Resistant Frame catches up.
Fantastic. I have a $25 donation here from Patora with no comment. Thank you so much for that donation. And then we have a $50 donation here from Boots42. There's a little zero hiding between the O's there that says, I'm digging this event and the charity org. Gotta go fast. And they put that $50 towards the Dark Souls 3 90% glitchless bonus game. Fantastic choice. I'm a big Dark Souls fan. We appreciate all your donations, friends.
Probably got one more.
One more. Okay. Well, then I'm going to read another little blurb here real quick on what your amazing donations can do to help out Save the Children. Just $10 here can buy malaria pills for 20 kids. That is a massive impact.
So now that we officially caught up, as you can see, these light up lights are gonna come up at the very end. As long as he doesn't, that last little gotcha activator that will wall Resistant Frame up if he actually hit that one. And for those that are prone to flashing lights, you might want to look away just for a quick second, because while this is gonna be very bright, this is gonna be a very fast kill. So don't blink. And that was Big Bulb. So here's the thing about Big Bulb. The actual weakness is the Desert Storm. You're supposed to get inside the Big Bulb, fire the Desert Storm, and it spits you back out. However, the creator, Dennis Engelhardt, actually made a little bit of an Easter egg in that if you overcharge it with the charge laser, you can actually instant kill it, and that is 5 bar faster than doing it normally. So, for Mega Man Rock's second Wily stage, if you thought the difficulty was ramped up already, this is where things begin to get serious. Because the main gimmick for this stage are these explosive platforms, which, aside from your shots, can also be activated by those chankies that come out on some of the pitfalls. So if your platform is not tight, you can be stuck in a situation where you get caught up by the enemies and wind up having a Chanky Maker just casually get on a exploding platform, and guess what? You're sent into a one-way trip straight into an abyss where a lovely little life just ends. But as you saw Resistant Frame get through that, we go through this little quick underwater section. Nothing too special about it. Just make sure that your platforming is pretty much straight away uptight, and just use your shield bubble as needed to get rid of the rest of the area. However, we ain't done yet. So remember those explosive platforms? They make a return, and it gets crazier. Because now we got those big chankies, and yes, that was some charge laser use in order to plow a quick way to make sure that you do not stop in that area. Stopping in that small little set of screens is one of the most dangerous areas. I've seen a lot of new players get tripped up by it, and Resistant Frame was able to get through that very cleanly. And shoutouts to Mega Man 1 Wily 3. You get this little current and these little bullets. It kind of gives you an idea of what this boss is about to be with this little reference. Say hello to CWUP. You know, I ain't gonna try to mess with it right now. My mind is a little bit jacked up just seeing the run and how excellently Resistant Frame is doing. And in doing so, he's also using the combination weakness in the Charged Snow Roller and the Blast Missile. Think of Super Metroid using a using the ice beam to freeze the Metroid, and then using a super missile immediately after. That's pretty much the concept of the boss. But there are other ways to defeat the boss as well. As you saw, there was a situation where there was a phase where he used a Desert Storm in order to get rid of some small little shieldy orbs that block shots, get that out of the way, and then just use a charge laser in order to defeat it. But now we get fun. And the map just showed you already from the get-go how fun it's going to be. As you saw Roll going upside down, Rolls Raleigh 2 is one of the craziest stages in the entire game. Unfortunately, had to take a quick death. It just in Resistingframe hadn't even got to the crazy portion yet, because this is where physics and some of the platforming interactions get a little bit crazy. So once Resistingframe gets to seeing this little mini devil, hello wraparound. So that's the first major gimmick as far as platforming goes. You gotta navigate throughout a few screens where wraparound is insanely important. So you're gonna have to know your direction throughout several screens, wrapping around, and just try to navigate through enemies, navigate through proper platforming, and just go through the area knowing all that Roll has with double jumps and all. One of the interesting things about this stage are that there are 0 pits in this stage. Not a one. To replace that, you got a crap ton of spikes littered all over the place.
That is crazy, man.
But yeah, this is easily one of the longest stages in the game, because these gimmicks just really kind of trips you up. Sometimes you can't tell heads or tails about a thing. So yeah, Resistingframe, as you can see, there are little petite devils in the general area. Ooh.
I'm just gonna, yeah, that's better, because if I would have, I didn't have enough energy, so.
Yeah, beat energy is insanely important. You see it throughout the run how important beat is to the game. So being low on beat energy pretty much puts you at risk of trying to, actually platform. But yeah, once again, as Resistingframe catches up to the point where he game over, we probably got time for a quick donation.
Alrighty, then I've been mentioning here from several of our donations that they're putting them towards different bid wars or incentives, so I wanted to give a little bit more detail there. Like the upcoming Uncharted Drake's Fortune any percent run we've got, you can pick Drake's skin, which includes Donut Drake, Elena Fisher, or Victor Sullivan, and clearly the front runner is Donut Drake with $141 currently. Fantastic choice. I'm a big fan. I'd love to see that number grow.
So yeah, as Resistingframe returns back to where it was, as you can see, Resistingframe is just generally looping around the area, just navigating throughout the complete wraparound. Of course, there we go. Using the actual terrain to actually help navigate the area and trying to make some safe platforming. But as you can see, because of how crazy this is, hi Skullman, bye Skullman. That's actually a little thing for 100%, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, now you get to the second portion where actually the main gimmick is reverse gravity. But unlike normal situations where you're upside down, the entire stage is actually upside down. So you gotta have to deal with situations where everything is all topsy-turvy and you gotta navigate the stage view there, and it's just a little quick straightaway with retracting spikes in the last devil playing gatekeeper just close to the end of the stage. But RF got this. But yeah, as you can see, this stage is pretty much one of the craziest stages in the entire game, and I should know, not only am I a speedrunner this game, I actually helped play tested this game, and I in this stage was one of the ones that I helped work on. So yeah, this stage is nutty for a variety of reasons. But yeah, resisting frame, getting to the boss door, and you saw Yoku blocks, you saw small little devils. Say hello to the unholy marriage of the two. Say hello to the Yoku Devil. So with the Yoku Devil, you're gonna be using the fire blast to pretty much try to defeat this boss as quickly as possible. Even using the fake Yoku blocks as a means to provide ammunition to destroy the boss as quickly as possible. Fortunately, as you can see, the wraparound is still in effect. Like I said, there are 0 pits in this stage, so you're not in a threat of a fall death. But for what it's worth, that was still a pretty solid recovery after what actually was a pretty rough stage. But now, this is where things get a little bit on the long side. Because like I said before, you saw Skullman in the previous stage, and I told you that before that one of the main objectives is to actually save 4 of the robot masters that was kidnapped. So if you weren't unable to save one, as you can see right now, guess what you have to do? You're gonna have to fight each and every robot master that you didn't save in this stage. So the first one, since we get Mega Man, choosing between rock and roll in this stage is masters as Mega Man here. The first, as you saw, was Fireman, who has a little bit of extra attacks on his end. And of course, since you had 4, you can kind of expect there's another one along the way. So say hello to the second one. We got Honey Woman, the unused concept that was originally made for Mega Man 9, which was replaced eventually by Hornet Man. Honey Woman makes an appearance. Her attacks are similar to Hornet Man in that you see those 3 hornets that fly across the screen, but it also shoots a little bit of honey that does do damage and does impede Mega Man's movement in a little bit. Also has a little diving stinging attack. But of course, Mega Man section is over. Now we do Rose side. We already saved Skullman, so fortunately we don't have to fight him because we saved him. However, we got a little extra. Thanks to the gracious kindness of Mr. Weird Guy, we get Dagger Man, who's a guest Robot Master appearance from another fan game called Mega Man Super Fighting Robot, which is another good fan game that I definitely recommend you to try and play alongside this one. Trust me, it's also good. But you also got to use the Soul Trap in order to defeat that quickly, which is going to be important as far as Soul Trap ammo goes, because with the Robot Master weakness routing, Soul Trap is going to be pretty important to use. And like I said, since we saved Skullman, we don't actually have to fight him. All it is just, just a Skeleton Joe. And you think we're done with that? You got several more fights. Yes, this is the refight stage. So take into consideration that you are potentially fight 4 Robot Masters in this stage. Combined with the 8 that you fight here, if you don't save every single Robot Master, you're pretty much going to be dealing with 12 boss fights in this stage alone. And there are some things that are different, like so. Because this stage also features a little bit of a tag mechanic. You're going to be using both rock and roll in these refights, and this is where the energy consumption for both weapons are very important, especially for Mega Man, because he's going to need some of that shield bubble, and that is where the weapon tank that we got long ago in Missile Man stage is going to be very important. In Rose's case, there's not many changes to the boss route. For Mega Man, however, since you haven't been doing these bosses as Mega Man, you're gonna have to use Mega Man's own physics to try to bypass a lot of these robot masters since you don't have double jump to help you navigate some of the fights if needed. But of course, since we got easy bosses, we got Mega Man taking care of Polar Woman easily. Another quick quality of life feature in the refights is that if you go through a Robot Master with full health at the beginning, you don't have to get the weapon pickup. The game just automatically just teleports you. You don't have to get the pickup to exit out. A very clean Reactor Man fight. But for Mega Man, it's his first shot at Ghost Woman, and this is going to be important for Mega Man's ammo supply because he's going to need some charged laser later on. Okay, we got a double window flash. That's unfortunate, but that's fine. But we got a little bit of a Shadow Stalker, but he didn't get caught by the soul trap, so no real worries about time waste. Missile Man, pretty much the same fight as the first. Just try to position yourself in a way that you can get 2 hits per 1 Desert Storm, and hopefully he does not go into missile phase where he's completely invincible. Alright, Tide Man. Once again, we're looking for 3 fishes, but since we don't have roll for double jump recovery, alright, we're good with the fishes. What's our next attack? We got an anchor. A little bit of a missed shot right there, but that's fine. Oh, what's this? Another capsule? Here's some Lord Bomb for you. Proto Man was actually captured in the intro stage as well. And he needs to be saved as well. So if you don't save him, you'll get a 13th potential boss fight in Proto Man here. But Proto Man's a very simple fight. All he really does is just hops around, shooting his Proto Shield whenever he jumps, and has his charge shot. But other than that, he's a very simple fight. You're pretty much just mashing him to death. And there you go. Boss refights all done, all over. And for a brief moment, say goodbye to roll. Yeah, the very last capsule that is done in this stage, the person that makes the last kill gets kidnapped. And there's going to be a single character alone for this final stage. So, we're going to start with Rock, and actually, like I said, starting with Rock at the start of the previous stage is good luck, because compared to Roll, ooh.
Didn't even let me slide.
But yeah, once you see the get to the gate, you'll kind of see why it's a little faster for Mega Man to run through this stage compared to Roll. Because as soon as you get to this gate, it's much faster for Mega Man to get to the boss room compared to Roll. Has to take a little bit of an extra effort to get to this particular boss fight, which is kind of a bit of an insane beast. This Swallow Machine utilizes the tag team mechanic where Charge Laser for the first phase is gonna be king. Not only is the weakness for this fight, it also quickly activates the light that's under it to open up the eyeball, which is the weak spot. It's the fastest method of opening the eyes, and you're gonna be using it. This is why Charge Laser ammo is paramount for both runners, well, for both players. But it gets a little more complex because now, with a combination of Desert Storm and actually Beetle Drone to put right inside the bombs right there that Dr. Wily's dropping, that little opening, you gotta use that combination in order to deal the most amount of damage. And now for the final phase here, the Wily Capsule, and time will be coming up as this will be the final fight of this game. So this is where shield bubble ammo comes in very important, and especially for Mega Man because he had very low, and that's time. He had low shield bubble ammo coming toward this fight, which is why we had to use the weapon tank at the very beginning of the refights to make sure he's topped out. So whenever it comes to him, he has some shield bubble to make this fight as quickly as possible. But yeah, that's pretty much game on Mega Man Rock and Roll. GG's Resistingframe.
Oh, that was tough, man.
Do we have a time to give RF before we sign off?
We're good. Oh man, that was tough.
Well, regardless, good job, Resistingframe. Thank you, ESA, for allowing this run to be presented. Once again, this is a free to download PC game. All you gotta do is just search for Rock and Roll, and it will be available. One of the first options to get. It's a hard game. It's a very hard game, but it's a rewarding game. And RF, thank you for allowing me to commentate the run.
Oh, thank you for helping out, man. This probably would have went worse if I was talking.
But yeah, at this point we're gonna sign off because it took some time for us to get set up. So hope y'all enjoy the run, and peace out, ESA. Keep up the good work.
Alrighty, friends, can we get another big cheer from you and your favorite Robot Masters for Resistingframe on that amazing run of Mega Man Rock and Roll, and LV Creed for the spectacular commentary. With that said, coming up, we have the Scruffington running. Let me get a deep breath here. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition New Game Human Nero Dante V on PlayStation 5. Whew. After a setup that's going to be easier for the tech crew than that name was for me to say. We'll be right back.